Okay. Share screen. Okay, share sound. Okay.
All right. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for coming. We'll try to get you out of here as soon as we can because I know it's probably dinner time for a lot of you guys. I know it is for mine too. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our wonderful kindergarten team. My name is Mrs. Shannon. I'm one of the kindergarten teachers here. And I work with the lovely Miss Selman, who's in the back of the room there in blue.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Miss Allen, and I work with Mrs. Borja, who's back in the back waving right now.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mrs. Moon, just like the moon, and I work with Miss Lampton back there.
All right. And we are not going to make all you little people stay here because this is not going to be fun for you guys. You get to leave your parents. Your parents get to stay here and have some homework and listen to us. And you guys get to go have fun. So all of our kindergarten friends are going to say goodbye to your parents for just a little bit. We promise we'll bring you back in just a tiny bit. And go see Miss Selman and Miss Lampton right there. They're going to take you on some kindergarten adventures.
Maybe this show when it's raining outside.
Oh, you guys are going on a school bus, so if you have a jacket, bring it with you, because I know it is probably still raining out there.
I didn't say boring. Yep. Really? I have to do it like that. Like it's weird. I got it. Oh, okay. It's weird, but it's okay. Right click over here. On the left instead of the right, you're right. Oh, look at that. I think there's one in the middle. I think there's one in the middle. That's cute. But that is over there. That's me.
Yes, in your arts class, we're going to do some activities, and then we're going to have an experience on the bus to see what the bus is like, just in case there are a bus rider coming to Franconia next year. So that is where they're going. In case you were wondering. All right, so I hope everybody was able to pick up a folder, and inside we're going to go over some of that information. Inside you have a copy of our presentation, and you are able to make notes if you want, or you can always take pictures of the screen or whatever is best for you. So we're going to the next slide, which is allergies, medications, and general reminders. Oh. So go back one. I think you're going to be after me. Okay, so for allergies, medication, and just some reminders. When you come to open house, we will have a piece of paper for you to fill out what your child is allergic to. So please look for that, just so we can be mindful that first week that they're there. And we do ask that it sticks to allergies rather than what they don't like to eat, because sometimes it's listed as also things that they don't care to eat. But if we could just stick to allergies, because we need to make sure what comes in and out of the classroom. Also, all the medication needs to be turned into the office, which is then stored into the health room. So in order for them to have that medication, there is a form you will fill out, and it will be held safely in the health room. Attendance changes need to be reported to both the teacher and the office. There is an attendance line because we really want to keep all the kids safe. So we do the attendance, we let the office know, then you will receive, if they are not here, you will receive a call just to make sure that they are safe with you. So we keep track of where they are and we know that they're safe and they're not somewhere, you know, especially that first week when they're learning, and we don't want them to be lost or scared. So please make sure that you let us know if they're going to be absent. Also, you will learn our email addresses. Right now, they are in the back of the slideshow. So you will be able to then notify that teacher as well. If you wish to bring items in to share with the class, please just let the teachers know first so that we can arrange a good time for that to occur. We do have, you know, academic benchmarks that we're meeting throughout the day, and we just want to make sure that we honor your time, your share with our academic time in the classroom. And this is a big one. If you can help us, remind your students to leave toys at home. Sometimes there is a big shift from maybe if they're enrolled in a preschool to kindergarten where they want to bring the toys and they're sitting and they're like, so when do we get to play? And yes, there is that imaginative playtime, but then there's also academic benchmarks that we're meeting. So that is one thing that they have to get used to, is building that stamina for the academics to then get to those imaginative play times or recess or snack and things like that. And now I'd like to introduce Mrs. Lux, Mrs. Lux, our public health nurse.
I realize this slide doesn't show very well, but I am Laura Lux. I work for the health department and I'm the public health nurse for Franconia. Now, who remembers their school nurse when they were a kid? Anyone remember going to the school nurse? Now, right, Fairfax County Public Schools is probably different from the way your elementary school was set up. There is no school nurse that's here day to day. We do have a health room, but it is staffed by our school health aide. And that is LaQuisha Eason. And I, the public health nurse, have several schools, so I'm only here once a week. Ms. Eason is trained in first aid and, you know, basic health care, but she's not a nurse. So I just want to make sure that you have that. You don't have that expectation that your child would be taken care of by a nurse. If there's any questions, she always follows our protocols, and if she needs to, you know, further guidance, I can help her out. So she's here day to day. She's the one that's going to take care of your child, the one that will call you if you need to come pick up your child. She does administer medications, and you know, she follows the guidelines set out by the county. Now, so I cover several schools, as I mentioned, and I see more of the big picture. If your child has a chronic health condition, then you're going to want to talk to me. I will come up with a plan for your child. I work with the teachers. We'll make sure that your child is taken care of here at school, and the teachers know how to support your child through this health condition. I do health trainings to all the teachers. Every teacher in this school is trained on how to use an EpiPen. So if your child has one of those, I want you to feel assured that we're going to take care of that. They all know how to recognize anaphylaxis and allergic reactions. That's part of the fall training that they all go through. So a couple things: if your child does need medication here at school, You will give it in the health room. You will need to bring it in yourself to the office. We have paperwork we're going to ask you to sign, and we can give that medication at school. Now, if you want your child to have Tylenol or Motrin or anything like that, we as a school district do not provide any medications. You will have to bring it in specifically for your child. If they need to take a daily medication, like ADHD medication in lunchtime, whatever, we can take care of that as well. As Ms. Allen mentioned, you're going to want to give out, let the teachers know about allergies. There will be paperwork you'll fill out where we're going to ask you to provide about all the health conditions for your children, so that I'll take that information and disseminate it to the teachers. So they'll have what they need. It'll go to their specialists, their PE, music, art, all of that. So they'll all of their teachers will know any health conditions that you want to share with the school. And one last thing is, please remember, keep your your sick child home. If they have a fever, 100.5 or above, they need to stay home for 24 hours until they are fever-free without any Tylenol or ibuprofen. Also, with vomiting, if they had an episode of vomiting at bedtime and they woke up and they feel perfectly fine, we still need you to keep them home one day, because it should be 24 hours since the last case of vomiting. We know that you do not want your children exposed to other sick children, so you do your part as well to keep your child home. All right, I will hang around for the end of this presentation. If you have any issues, health issues that you want to discuss with me, I'll be here for you. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Another big part of our partnership, besides parents and teachers, is the PTA. And the PTA does many things for us here at Franconia. So we now have Mrs. Jenkins here and Mrs. Roach to share with you about the PTA here at Franconia.
I'm Cassidy Roach. I've been serving as the PTA president for the last 2 years. So as we took kids home for school, and then as we brought kids back into the school, the PTA is really just here to come alongside our school, our staff, and our students, and our parents to enhance the learning experience. So we do a lot of things, like we pay for transportation for field trips at the end of the year. We do back to school night. We do popsicles on the playground. We did a kind of a fall festival, and we do a lot of end of year activities, kind of helping with field day, all those activities. Now, the more parents that we have get involved, the more things we're able to do. This year, it's kind of been a trickle back of people coming back from COVID and regaining their capacity. So I would encourage you all to get involved. Like I said, my name is Cassidy. Carol will be leading our PTA next year, and I'll let her say hi to you. But one of the big things I want to let you know about is we have elections coming up. So if you have your PIN, my name is Cassidy, CASSIDY, Roach, ROACH, like the bus, @gmail.com. If you're interested in serving with PTA, we actually have the elections this year for next year. So if you're interested in getting involved, we really need some help with the board. We promise we're not going to, suck the life out of you. We'll be easy on you. So, but yeah, get involved with PTA. It's a great way to get back to your school, and it also shows your students what it's like to serve and volunteer in the community. So, and then I'll introduce you to Karen.
As Cassidy said, my name is Carol Jenkins. I will be the PTA president next year, which is why I'm here tonight, so that you have a face that we recognize. So when you guys heard PTA, how many of you kind of went, right? Yeah, Mr. Smith did. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, I am the exact same way. I actually started in FCPS when my son was 2.5. He was in the preschool autism program. So we were in FCPS for 2.5 years, and I actively avoided the PTA. Anytime I saw their table, I pretended I was on a phone call, did the long way around. Yeah, because I thought PTA stood for parents to avoid. But when I was in kindergarten orientation, right where you guys are right now, it hit me. My son is not in preschool anymore. He was going to a real school. We were going from 2 to 3 hours a day from being on to all day. We went from, I'm going to see his teacher every day and hear all about the wonderful things he did to, I might see his teacher at the conference in November. I don't know about you, but like, that was terrifying as a parent. So I decided to join the PTA so that I could spy on the school. My son is now a rising 6th grader, and I continue to spy on the school every single year. So I'm really glad I joined the PTA because I got to know my kids' teachers. I'd be in the hallway putting things on the bulletin board, and his teacher would walk by. Kara, guess what Alex did today? And I got those daily check-ins because I was in the school all the time. And that's kind of why I wanted to speak to you guys tonight, because I know the PTA is like terrifying, and you think fundraisers and gluten-free bake sales, and I promise you, we have no fundraisers planned for next year. Actually, Mr. Smith and Ms. Kinski and I were talking. We just want the PTA to be a fun place next year. We are planning events to get people in the building. That's all we want. We want you to come into the building because we want you to get to know the other kindergarten parents. We want you to get to know the older parents, the veteran parents who can tell you what's up. And we want you to get to know the staff. We want your son's or your daughter's teacher to walk by and know who you are. And the more PTA events that you come to, the more likely that is to happen. And as Cassidy mentioned, we really need leadership. I was the treasurer in kindergarten, and the best way to know what's going on is to be in charge of the money. So I'm inviting you to not only join the PTA, but also consider leading it. It really is the best way to get to know what's going on here. And also on a bigger level, I also volunteer at the county level. So like the superintendent knows me on a monthly basis. I could walk by, he'd say, hey Kara, how's Alex doing? That's a really cool feeling to have as a parent, to know all the important people that are affecting your life, your child's life. So I'm gonna cut myself off because I can talk for like 2 hours. But really just wanted to say hi, let you guys see my face so that when you guys are back in the fall, meeting your teacher, that you see me. I know that we are here to help you, and I look forward to seeing you guys next year. I have a first grader, a third grader, and a 6th grader. So I have one going to middle school. If you have any questions, please let us know.
And if you're not available to be a leadership position in PTA, everyone can join the PTA and become a member, and then, be able to get input that way. So once the year starts, there will be a membership paper. So we encourage you to at least become a member, because then you also are a voting member. Whether you are able to attend everything or not, your voice will be heard in that manner. So.
Sounds like you could be an officer next year.
See what happens when you say something, but it's okay. All right, moving on to transportation, which is okay. So here at Franconia, we have children that arrive on Kiss and Ride. There are walkers, and then there's buses. So there are huge benefits to riding the school bus. One, the Kiss and Ride line is not something you need to worry about. And whether you have to be there 45 minutes before school even ends, or how to do your timing. So if your child is available or has the opportunity to ride the school bus, we really encourage that. Kindergartners are taken care of very kindly on the school bus. They sit in the front, so they get used to it. They recognize their stops. There will be patrols on the school bus. And when they arrive and we learn what school bus they're on, we put yellow tape on the strap of their backpack, and we put what school bus they ride. So please leave that yellow tape on there, because then it notifies everybody in the school building that yes, they are kindergarten that rides the bus. And if we're not there, then anybody in the school can help them and guide them to where they need to be. So the patrols also help. And then these are QR codes. So if you have your phone and you want to scan it with your phone, or it's also, it should be big enough in your handout. There is a very cool app, Here Comes the Bus. Because, sometimes as of this year, yes, the school bus was supposed to arrive at this time, and it's not there. Well, if you have this app, it will track where your school bus is. Because, if COVID continues, or, there's this variant that we don't know about yet, it is something, it affects adults too. So that is why sometimes the bus is maybe late because of the bus drivers. So this really lets you know what time the bus left the school and what time it should arrive at your stop. Also, may I ask, are there still going to be signs in Kiss and Ride for parents to know, like they keep it on their dash so that you can call them? Okay, so if it were, but you're not able to ride the bus, there will be signs given out, and please leave that in your car, so then it'll have your name and we can call, so then the kids will come out to meet you in that quicker manner. Is that okay? Okay. Okay, also, right, we also have a transportation coordinator at this year. It is Mr. Harris. He's one of our PE teachers. So we will let you know who the coordinator is next year in case you have any other questions about transportation from the school. Okay. Okay, so going into this, so school safety. All right, all the external doors are locked in our school because in order to get in, there is a special button that all teachers have, and then we also have a badge. This is for your child's safety, so we know who is in the building and that they're supposed to be there. So we ask you as parents to keep the safety, and then when you enter the building, you will sign in to let us know that you are there, and then when you leave, you will sign out. This is just to make sure that all children are safe inside and that we know who is coming to us and leaving us and what time. So if your child is to leave early with you, you also sign them out, so then we know that they have left with you. So signing in, all of us are trained in what's called a lockdown drill, the tornado drill, and fire drill. The first month of school, there's a fire drill every week. And it's usually announced, so we're able, and we teach the kids the procedures that we do to try and alleviate any stress from that. But again, sometimes there's a little bit of fear with that. Because they're here away from you, and then they have to put that trust in us. So we do talk to the kids about it, we read stories about it, so they know that when they're not with you, we are here to protect them, and we will do everything we can to do so. There are FCPS school security that do routinely patrol the campuses of school. They do it in the evening, they do it all the time. So they are there to make sure that all school campuses are safe. We also have the number that if something were to occur and we need their help, we call them. And then again, on the bottom, it says how kindergartners have yellow tape on their backpacks so we can easily identify them and what bus they ride. So please leave that on. The other thing is once you determine their way to and or from school, their dismissal, we ask that it doesn't change daily, that it remains the same, because we have different places for dismissal. So we want to make sure your child is where they need to be for going home. So if there is an emergency change, that you just please call the office to let us know that there's a change in dismissal. Okay, now we're going towards the schedule, sample schedule.
All right, everyone, I'll make this brief. So this is our schedule, what it looks like. This is our schedule currently for the year. So students can come into the school at 8:35. However, we do start learning instruction at 8:45 a.m.
So this is an example of what it currently looks like. However, next year it could look different just depending on how that's gonna go. So I do want to point out that we have a snack time. So I want to emphasize that this is what our snack time looks like. So students will bring in their lunchbox, or they can have a hot lunch. But if they do bring a lunchbox, we ask them to separate their snack from their lunchbox. And usually what happens is that students will eat their entire lunch during snack time. And I'm like, we don't have anything for lunch for you. So that's why I really emphasize that you guys can support us with making sure that their snack is in a different bag with their name, because then usually someone's like, oh, I brought the orange. Oh, I brought the orange. I'm like, so your support is definitely very needed for that time. So some other examples we have right there.
And for it to be healthy,
Yes, healthy, yes.
and like one little thing, it doesn't have to be, you know, a smorgasbord of lunch. So it's easy for them to choose what to eat in the amount of time, because it's only like 10.
Yeah, we
10
would do
minutes.
snack time for 10 minutes. Some students tend to bring a lollipop, so that's why right now, like, healthy snacks are good just because it keeps their stamina going throughout the day. We also do have what's called a quiet time. So we start that during quarter 1 only. Students will have a towel with them. We ask that you do not bring a huge blanket, just a nice little towel. They'll have their name on that towel. This is something that we do during quarter 1, and it kind of helps them to build their stamina to get them going for the day. Usually around like 1 o'clock, students, kindergarten, especially that first quarter, they're super tired. So that's why we offer that quiet time to get them kind of refreshed to get the end of the day going. But yeah, this is just what the schedule looks like. This vessel will ring at 3:30, and then we'll start with the next slide.
And throughout the big part of the day is we have a block for language arts and a block for math. And depending on the full school schedule, it might be that kindergarten has language arts in the morning and math in the afternoon, or vice versa. So we really have those big blocks of time, and then we have our activities throughout.
All right, so a lot of what I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to tell you a little bit of, because I want to be respectful of your time, and I know it's getting late. And a lot of this is going to be stuff that we covered during back to school night, which is another night in the fall, where once your child is in placed into a class, you'll come back another night and you can get to talk with your child's teacher kind of more in depth about what exactly we're going to be doing next year. But we wanted to give you just a little bit of it right now. So our school follows what is called responsive classroom, and it sounds like a lot of technical stuff, but really what it means is we want to teach your children to intrinsically want to make good choices because they need to, not because, we're bribing them with, stickers or anything like that, but teaching them to be a good friend, to be kind to each other, and to be responsible for the choices that they make. And so we do that just a lot of different ways to give them natural consequences that, you guys are listening today, maybe, we'll just spend some more time kind of celebrating that together and talking about why that's so awesome that you guys are making those choices. We try to use natural consequences in that, it wasn't a good choice if you weren't playing safely with this toy, so maybe we'll just play with a different one, and that makes sense. And kind of talking out with them the best choices that they can make for each other, so that they can really learn those good social skills, those good academic behaviors while they're here. It also helps us build community in our classroom because we spend a lot of time kind of talking about how to treat each other. So this is kind of just a year in advance of a lot of the things that we have learned in kindergarten. It might change a little bit next year because every year they kind of tweak the things that we learn. So this was from this year, and it was just an example of some of the things that we learned in kindergarten. I know a lot of you might think, in kindergarten I learned my colors and how to write my name, because I know that's what I think I did in kindergarten. We do a lot more than that now. It's really kind of kindergarten plus. We kind of go into what you probably did in first grade, and now it's really more kindergarten. So we do a lot of poetry. Right now our classes are doing research projects.
Yeah.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do it the fun kindergarten way, so it's not, okay, sit down, read this book, and then you have to write me a book of work. So we make it fun, we explore together while we do these things. So we get to share with different books, we talk about different ways to do things, we use different materials like computers, we have experts come visit us and talk about things. We do a lot of play-based learning. So a lot of it is very hands-on, so it's not just here's a worksheet and you're gonna go fill this out. So we do, like, we're gonna tell you, like, we learn about money, we learn about fractions, we learn about addition and subtraction, but it's all in a very fun, age-appropriate way, so it's not gonna seem scary to them when they do it. So this is just a little bit of it, so this is a lot of our language arts. We do spend a lot of time kind of teaching them social skills and oral communication skills, especially because a lot of our friends right now, maybe this is their first in-person school experience. I know for my child, she didn't have a lot of school experience before this. And she's going to be kindergarten this year too, so I'm sure I get to know her. It is going to be fun, and we make sure that it is all very age appropriate and play-based for them and educational while we're doing it. So we make sure we can do all of those things. Next one is a little more of the math and science and social studies. So we study the weather. We just did sink and float where they got to build a boat and put it in water and see if they could make it float. And we do shadows. We talked about the groundhog on Groundhog's Day, and they get to make little puppets and go outside and make shadows with their puppet. So we really kind of make it interesting to them and not just kind of you have to sit down and focus. We want to make sure it's as fun for them as possible. So one of the biggest things that we do is differentiation, because we have so many students from so many different diverse backgrounds, which we love, and we want to make sure we meet all of their needs. And so to do that, we do use a workshop style instruction, which means that we put them in little small groups with other children who are kind of on a similar learning level with them, so that we can really make sure that we are teaching them in the way that is best for them and not what is best for 30 children at once, or 28 children at once. So we want to make sure that we can really take your child's needs into consideration when we are teaching them specifically. So those groups can change, they're flexible, we can move them from one group to another depending on what they're showing us that they need and what we can help them with. We do a lot of assessments both before we start something, because I know a lot of us might have friends who are maybe already knowing all their letters. And then we have some friends who maybe don't know it yet, and that's great. So we kind of check and see who those friends are and what they need before we start something. And then at the end of an activity or at the end of a lesson or a unit, we check again to see who needs more help or who's got it down. And then we do a lot of reteaching and extension. So if something is too easy for your child, we're going to give them something harder to keep them challenged. If something's too hard for them, we'll take a step back and adjust it to make sure it's meeting their needs.
When we say pre and post assessments, that's our wording, but like we'll call it exit tickets for them, or show us what you know, so they don't, they don't have that performance anxiety of, oh, I have to do this. So it's kind of, there's informal ones, and then there are going to be some assessments that are countywide that we have.
So this is from our wonderful special education teacher, Miss Beck, who's actually with your children right now. She is wonderful, and she's one of the special education teachers right now. She's working with kindergarten this year. Every year, our special education teacher might change, or it might be her again. We'll know next year, but she is one of them. So if you have a child that maybe has special needs, you can get in contact with her, or you might already have been, so that we can plan to make sure that we can meet your child's needs in the best, most appropriate way possible. Because all of our students, including our special education students, deserve the free and appropriate education in the least restrictive environment. And we make sure that special education is provided to anyone eligible through our school through local school committee process. If this is something that maybe you are thinking your child might need, you can always email one of us and just ask us questions. We're always happy to help, because some friends we might have already found, some friends we might need to find to see if they need more help. So our special education team is very motivated to help. They are awesome. I'll have to say I love them. Every one of them is amazing. They do such an amazing job with our students. And they help and follow every student's needs through their developed IEP, which is the plan that they come up with to make sure that they can best meet those special students' needs. And I'm going to hand it over to our lovely ESLM teacher, Mrs. Young Smith, to talk to you about our ESLM program.
Hi, dear Lucy. My name is Anna Young Smith. I am one of the ESOL teachers at Franconia. We have a great team at Franconia. We, of course, our focus as ESOL teachers is to support the development of English for our language learners. And so in Fairfax County, something that we take approach on is that we work together. Our role isn't just on that language piece. We really do focus on that idea of taking that content that students are learning within the kindergarten year, as well as other supports that we have in place along with that English language development. So it's a three-tier piece program that we here. So like many other public schools, we do work with classrooms to focus on the different content that the kids are learning, and it's through those topics that we use to then support the language development piece. And as you can see through our presentation here, within the language, there are 4 domains. And so when we work with our identified English learners, we are really developing 4 areas of language: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. One of the ways that we identify our language learners is through a form that most of you, and all parents who have kids registered in the county, complete. And it is the home language survey form. So it is through the home language survey form that we as ESOL team identify our English learners. And one way we do so is when you go through that form, there are a series of questions. If we find that there is another language that has been identified through that form, we are then tasked to do some assessments with these language learners at the beginning of the school year, where we do look at their domains of languages, and it is through those assessments that we're able to determine if that language learner is somebody who is proficient, and if they are found proficient, then they are actually not eligible for the ESOL program, but if they are found eligible, then they are going to be working with myself, along with perhaps my teammates as well. This year, I've had the pleasure to work with kindergarten once again, and so that I've been the main teacher, working with the English learners within that grade level. Then, of course, as we move through their careers through through Franconia, they will also have an opportunity to work with our other fabulous teachers that are on the ESOL team as well. So once again, my name is Young-Smith. If you guys have any questions at all regarding the home language survey form or the program itself, please feel free to reach out to me, as well as any of the other teachers that are on the team as well. So thank you so much for coming this evening. Really looking forward to creating a connection with your opinion.
You're welcome. So I just wanted to add something to this. Being a speaker of another language is pretty awesome for the kind of world we live in. And sometimes because we as teachers are speaking English, sometimes there's this fear of saying whether you speak another language or not. I just wanted to just point out that I wish that I was fluent in another language because it would help me reach so many other people. When you do fill out that home language survey, just keep in mind, yes, they're in kindergarten. Yes, they were born, they could have been born here. They're growing up here. They've heard the English. But if another language is at home and they are being exposed to it, when it comes then to the comprehension and the understanding of the English language in the academic sense, we just want to make sure that they get all the support they can get to be successful further on through their education. So just keep that in mind when you fill out that form.
And thank you, Ms. Allen, for actually kind of separating the two. While we certainly know some of our language learners might be coming in already speaking English. And I know that, part of that whole piece of communication, you might think, oh, well, they're already communicating in English. They will need that extra support. But the reality is, our focus within our curriculum is really not just that English development piece, but really focusing on that academic language that all kids need to really access the content, as well as all of the different activities and information that the teacher, the classroom teacher is sharing. So keep in mind, there is that playground language that a lot of kids have to help them communicate with their friends and peers. And when it comes to school, there's a whole nother set of academic language that they really do need to access. It includes, of course, the vocabulary of content from the different content areas, but also that academic language that's used within the school to communicate their understanding and their knowledge of their work. We certainly, as Alex said, we celebrate diversity as well as multi-languages here.
Yes, and thank you. I was also growing up out with ESOL, so yo hablo español muy bien, so that program really benefited me, so I appreciate teachers just like you. Thank you. Connections. So I just would like to say that I hope today you guys feel encouraged enough to join the Franconia family. Here is the link to register, so if you guys haven't had the opportunity yet to do so, you can take out your phones and you may scan this link. It's also, again, included in your PowerPoint. But we really encourage you guys to be a part of our family. We're a wonderful team, and hopefully you guys can decide to join with us. All right.
And if you do still need to register, you can call the office and make an appointment. Ms. McCash, who is in the back of the room, is our school registrar right now. So either her or, it's amazing things happen. She runs the school board. Yeah. So you can call the office to make an appointment to go register your child, because there is an online portion, but then you will also need to come in to show some forms as well. All right, but we are so excited to meet your children. We are so excited, especially to have kind of a more normal school experience. Fingers crossed that it's happening. We love it so much. We love spending time with them. And honestly, because we can't wait to get to know your children so much, we are asking if you would like to come visit us for 2 days this summer. We are doing kindergarten assessments. They're completely optional. But what it is we just kind of want to spend about 15 or 20 minutes getting to know your child, what their academic levels are, so that we can make sure that we are starting off from day one, being able to meet their needs right away, instead of having to kind of figure out what they need over a longer period of time. This kind of just gives us a little snapshot, so we can at least have some things ready on their level right on that first day of school. And it's nothing scary, we look at some letters, we see if maybe they can write their name, and if they can't do any of those things, that's awesome too, because it just tells us exactly what we get to work with them on. So if you are available, it is for 2 days in August, and you can either scan that QR code on your paper or up here, and it will take you to a sign up, and you can pick a time where you can bring your child into school, and they'll get to spend time with one of the kindergarten teachers, and we can get to know them just a little bit. Another really important thing for you guys to do, which as a parent with a kindergartner this year, I got to learn how to do, so I got to try to do this, is to sign up for a parent SIS account. SIS is where you will get to kind of check on your child's academic progress. So later in their school career, when they get progress reports, you'll be able to go online and see those things, as long as a couple other pieces of information on there. So it is really important for you to have one of these. So please sign up for one of those when you can, and the QR code for that is up there as well. And then also, this is the sign up for the My School Bucks account, which you will also need if your child is ever buying anything at school for any reason, which includes lunch in the cafeteria, as well as like musical instruments later on when they get to kind of the upper grades, they start buying these lovely recorders. I'm sure you guys will be thrilled to hear that they learn how to play in a couple years from now. So anything that you're going to need money for, like we just ordered kindergarten t-shirts this year, and all the parents were able to pay for their t-shirt on here. It makes it really easy. Your child does not have to have a 20 stuck in their backpack that's going to fall out, because it's all done online. So if you sign up for that, that is really helpful.
As far as we know, like right now,
With the effects of COVID, all students were able to get breakfast if needed and lunch. But I believe next year that I think it was the county said, just don't quote me, but I believe it's going to go back to where they will be purchased. So just keep that in the back of your head, okay? Because some of you may have older siblings now and it was free, but it might be that you do, again, need to purchase breakfast and lunch.
Another exciting program that we're gonna have is actually this summer, we're gonna have the Bridge to Kindergarten program. And it's a program that is 3 weeks long and it's until the month of July. And it is designed to help our students who have never had a school experience or have had very little school experience kind of transition to kindergarten by just giving them kind of like a little crash course preschool. It just gives them a chance to be in the building, to practice being around other children their age, to practice listening to directions, to practice sitting and listening to a story, to practice safe play with their peers. It kind of just gives them like a couple hours every day to kind of practice those things before they really come to kindergarten and are here for the full day, which can be very long, especially for the friends who have never been to school. So it's 15 days for 4 hours a day. Transportation is provided. So it sounds like your child might qualify for this if they haven't been to preschool yet, or if they only have very limited preschool experience, or even if maybe you heard from your child's teacher already that they could use a lot of practice with those kind of school experiences, those school routines and behaviors, then you can let us know. And on the next slide, I believe we have a QR code where you can sign up on the interest form, and then our lovely summer school coordinator, Ms. Ray Hudgens, will be in contact with you friends who are selected to attend the program. And I will say, I taught it last year, I get to teach it this summer, it's so much fun, I love it, we have a lot of fun together. Ms. Moon did it with me last summer too. It is a lot of fun, and it really just, it's nothing stressful, it's nothing academic, it gets them just to practice being together, being around other kids, being in a school building, to give them those experiences so they're not kind of shell shocked on the first day of kindergarten when there's 500 kids around them.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so we're kind of heading towards the end of our program, which is good. If you need to ask us any questions, we're gonna have a question and answer period at the end of this. But if you ever think of any later, we love to help. We're very friendly, I promise we don't bite. So you can always email us to ask us questions. The school phone number is on there as well. If you need to call for some cash to set up an appointment to do any of that registering. And then here's also a code for the school website, which is also where you can find like the attendance line, if you ever need to know where to find that.
The school supply list for the upcoming year will be there.
As well, it's not posted yet, but if you want to kind of look at this table here, there is a display of the school supplies that were on there for this year.
One thing we do ask, and it seems kind of silly right now, is that they have a regular size backpack. Now, at the beginning, they might be going like this because their backpack is so heavy and it's so big. But by the end, because they have to fit folders, library books, laptops or iPads, we're not sure. Their towel, their snack, their lunchbox, a lot goes in here. Then they want to put their jacket in here sometimes. So if you could please purchase this, so then you don't have to get two, because everything will have to fit inside. And we really would prefer that it didn't have wheels, just for storage purposes and putting them in the closet. And then we do ask for a bag of extra clothes. This doesn't mean we're thinking that they will need them for an accident, but it's so nice to have them if they were. But it could be the slide was wet and they went down and didn't look for it, and then they go down and they're all wet. So, or they spill their milk or anything like that. So sometimes we ask them to keep them in their backpack. Sometimes we can keep them for them. And then headphones, right? Headphones that also might have a speaker so that they can talk. Those are some of the ones. So just want to walk around, and it will be posted on the website?
It'll be on the website kind of over the summer. At the end of the year, the kindergarten teachers will make next year's list and what they need. So those were just some examples of some things we asked for. It might look a little different next year depending on what we kind of think they're gonna need, but it will definitely be posted this summer so you guys can look for the school supplies in stores. And I believe sometimes our PTA does coordinate supply boxes where if you don't want to hunt all over the 10 stores, like I'm not looking forward to having to do, you can do it through the school and they will have all those supplies put in a box for you. So you don't have to do it. All you have to do is pay for it and it will show up to the school delivered for you. So, sometimes it goes to their home. Once in a while it comes to the school for us. So it will either go to your home for you to bring to us or it will come to the school. But it makes it super easy. You don't have to hunt through 10 stores trying to find everything because they do it all for you.
And then in your folder, you also have a SAT flyer. This is student age childcare. If you are trying to look for care before or after school, I do know that they usually have a waiting list for this. So if you're thinking about it and you know like now that you need it, you may want to jump ahead and get on their waiting list if needed for next year. And then also, if you don't want to ask the question now and you have a question, there is this form in your folder that you could always fill it out and leave it with us. And we can answer that for you. Just let us know your email address so we can send you that.
And look at that, exactly 6:30, like we promised. So we're happy to stick around for a couple minutes. I do want to tell you our school is having a fantastic book fair right now, which is open until 7 o'clock. So if you want to hurry down there and see if you guys can grab your little ones some fun books. There are also some cookbooks and other things for adults to read as well. And it's a great fundraiser for the school. So that is open in our library on your way out. In a couple minutes, we're going to take you on down to pick up your little ones in the kindergarten classrooms. But did we have any questions you wanted to ask first? Yes. The bridge to kindergarten?
Yeah.
Sorry, a couple of these were added a little too late for us to stick in your folder. So we can, this will be posted on the website. We're recording the whole thing. So if you need to get any of the slides that you don't have printed, it will be on the website for you to get as well. And one more, there was the QR code.
Okay, oh, that one?
Yep. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, were there any other questions tonight?
There's many.
Really loud. We help make sure that they go on the right one on the right day. That happens. Don't worry. We make sure we walk them all to the buses ourselves. So we make sure they get on the right one, or we make sure they get to this wherever they're supposed to be. Yeah.
So you mentioned, someone mentioned that you can't drop the kids off at 8:35. What about for breakfast?
So breakfast is open from basically that 10 minutes. It kind of tends to be like a take and go breakfast. So generally at 8:35, they come straight down to the cafeteria, they grab the breakfast, and then they come to the classroom. They're not considered late if they're getting breakfast. So if they take, a longer time getting it because they have to come down here, that's fine. They need to get their breakfast, we understand. And then they eat in the classroom. So yeah, we just have to have an unpacking time, and if they're eating, and I mean, after a while, if it gets to be a little too long, we kind of cut them off. But for the most part, we give them enough time to eat the breakfast in the room. Agree? Say, Mr. Smith question, I don't know the answer to that one yet, I don't think.
It should be the same, but they're gonna change it as she does.
Yes. Not yet either. That'll be announced later in the summer too.
It's typically the Thursday.
Yeah, so if you don't know, we do open house sometime during the week before school starts, where you can come to the school with your child And there'll be lists posted with your child's name and who their teacher is, and you'll get to go to their classroom and meet the teacher and take a look around, meet some of the friends that'll be in their class. Usually PTA has a fun like popsicles on the playground, kind of play date for them to get to know each other or something like that. And so that will be usually the week before we start. Does anyone else have a question?
We have found out that this link isn't really working right now.
When you click it, it might say you do not have permission. So we will ask, Mrs. Wright Hutchins about this and, get you the correct link. So maybe what we can do is, put it on the website or on the interest form, like on that little form right here. If you're interested in this, please let us know through your email so we can make sure you get the form for this. Thank you for letting us know that one wasn't working. Apologize. I believe that you will receive a letter in the mail. If your child can ride the bus, it's on a bus route, it will say the bus number. And it's going to have, I think, FR, and it'll have like some zeros or something and then a number. So if you're not sure at open house, bring that form so a teacher can then help you, and it should then also say where the stop is for your child to wait and for where you should pick up. That's another thing I think I forgot to mention. For kindergarten students, there has to be an adult to pick them up from the bus stop. So it can't be a sixth grade brother or anything like that. It has to be an adult. I believe it's 16 and older for kindergarten, I believe. So that is required, and the bus driver will not allow them to get off the bus if no one is there. They will be brought to school, and then we'll call you to have them get picked up. So your child will be safe if there's an emergency or anything, or just call the school, say, I'm late, I'm going to be there, or that you need to switch that day to Kiss and Ride and have someone pick them up, okay? So someone does have to be at that bus stop in order for them to get off for safety. Any other questions? Well, we're really happy you guys all came, and it's a rainy day, you still came, that's awesome. Yeah, you guys. And we want to walk you down to where your treasures are, down in the kindergarten wing of our school, so you can pick them up. Anybody wants to say